was unknown to the foundry industry. But by 1928, when the patent was granted and the first ads appeared, 31 other companies were selling bentonite to the trade. While Whitehead Brothers had a legal monopoly, liberal licensing arrangements were soon worked out, and the entire foundry sand industry began the shift in emphasis from naturally bonded to synthetically bonded sand. By the late 30s, the transition to synthetics was so pronounced that the company acquired a 4,000-acre property between Millville and Dividing Creek, New Jersey, one of the country's richest silica sand producing areas. The sand in this deposit is a very pure white silica with uniform grain size. Since the water table is only 10 to 12 feet below the top of the deposit, and material is being excavated to a depth of 35 to 40 feet, hydraulic mining is employed. A dredge equipped with a centrifugal sand pump supplies material from the pond to the scalping screens on top of the cylindrical tank. Here, all the 1/4-inch mesh material is removed, and the balance goes through this flume to a series of 3 Shaw classifiers. The distant rumbles of World War II, the third major conflict to occur in Whitehead history, were already being felt in the late 30s and early 40s. Even though America was not to become directly involved until late in 1941, foundry production for Lend-Lease and other assistance programs was stepping up. So, Whitehead developed other sources of unbonded sands. These included the dune sands of Mexico Bay, New York, and Provincetown, Massachusetts. These sands have extremely uniform grains that have been cleaned, polished, and classified by centuries of wind and wave action. The tremendous push given to scientific research during the war made itself felt in the foundry industry almost immediately after the cessation of hostilities. The CO2 process reappeared 50 years after it was first suggested, and shell molding was introduced from Germany. Because of its long experience in producing extremely fine grades at Dividing Creek, Whitehead was once again ready to meet the challenge of a new foundry development. At first, Whitehead supplied only the bare sand. But soon a pilot plant for small-scale production of the bonded product was installed. Because of its interest in researching the foundry's problems at first hand, Whitehead also put into operation a shell molding machine. By actually producing shell cores and molds in their own laboratory, problem areas could be anticipated and a superior product assured. The migration of industry to the South was a phenomenon which first made itself felt in the 50s. Management knew that they must bring the sand closer to their customers. After considerable prospecting, tremendous reserves of high-grade sand were discovered in Kershaw County, South Carolina, near the town of Blaney. By 1958, a modern plant had been erected and was beginning shipments to foundries throughout the Mid-South. Growth was so rapid that the initial deposits close by the plant were soon exhausted. To avoid long truck hauls, an unusual combination of conventional and hydraulic techniques were evolved. A front loader scoops up the sand, which is close to the surface, and dumps it into a large sump, which is filled with water from a man-made pond. The resultant slurry is pumped almost 1 mile to the main plant. From here, the process is almost identical to Dividing Creek. The most modern equipment is utilized, a scalping operation. followed by a series of Shaw classifiers, a rotoscoop, and a huge dryer. Further examples of specialized customer services that are available at Blaney and Dividing Creek are this bagging operation, which puts up 100-pound lots of specific grades for those foundries that need small lots of special sands or who like the cleanliness of a bagged product, and loading facilities for pressurized trucks. Ever since laboratory controls were first introduced in the 20s, Whitehead has been a leader in sand control and research. Individual labs are maintained at each of the main producing plants, and every carload is sampled to make sure it meets customer specifications. In addition, a centralized lab is located at the main offices where more basic research is carried on. This commitment to research, unusual in an industry that just digs its product out of the ground, has enabled Whitehead Brothers to maintain its leadership in foundry sand and service. Because of its long and intimate association with practical foundrymen, Whitehead's research department tempers its theoretical ideas with the practical knowledge that can be gained only on the molding floor. A good example of this was the development of a product to control rat tailing. Existing additives for the control of rat tailing were tested, but they did not hold up under day-to-day test pourings. It was decided that a path to the solution could be found only if the actual mechanism of rat tailing could be studied in close detail. So high-speed motion pictures were made of several pours. They revealed that the rat tailing was taking place almost instantly, rather than in the cooling process, as had been long believed. Once the true cause of the problem was understood, the search for an additive which would control it was greatly simplified. As this side-by-side comparison shows, the solution was found. From this combination of theoretical research and practical experience has come a steady stream of foundry facings and additives. These include the Hygeia line of dustless pitch, sea coal, and wood flour, which greatly improve foundry health and housekeeping conditions, a variety of fast-setting core pastes, and Panextrol for the control of rat tailing. These are manufactured by Whitehead's wholly owned subsidiary in the most modern plant of its kind located just outside Pittsburgh. This detailed scale model gives an overall view of the completely enclosed system for materials handling and storage. The raw materials, mostly coal and pitch, are unloaded into a track hopper and travel to a primary crusher. From here, the small lumps move via conveyor to one of 3 storage silos, which have a 75-ton capacity each. Then, depending upon the fineness desired, the raw materials are gravity-fed to one of 4 different hammer mills for pulverizing. Bagging is fast and clean because everything is under cover. Strict quality control assures the same reliability for Whitehead additives that the trade has come to expect in Whitehead sands. Many changes have occurred in the foundry industry since Samuel Whitehead first produced molding sand from his New Jersey peach orchard, And many changes have occurred at Whitehead Brothers. Today, the electric utility industry is making use of Whitehead-developed thermal sand to dissipate heat generated by underground high-tension transmission lines. When used as a corrective backfill, thermal sand allows lower copper temperatures, protects insulation, and ensures increased carrying capacity. To serve the ever-growing needs of the construction industry, Whitehead sands and aggregate are being produced in this ultra-modern, semi-automated plant where exact specifications can be predetermined by the push of a button. Yes, many things have changed in the past 125 years, and many more changes will come in the years ahead as the dreams born in the research laboratories become the realities of the future. But some things will remain constant: the sand and the service.